Well, they're on their feet here in Buffalo waiting this opening kickoff. Kansas City won the toss. They will receive. And Steve Christie about to make the approach to Mark Vanover is back deep at his goal line. And here comes Vanover. He's across the 20. And taken down inside the 30-yard line. And we are joined on the sidelines by Jim Gray. Let's check downstairs with Jim.
All right, thank you very much, Marv. Well, Bryce Popp, one of the defensive stalwarts for the Bills, he's going to be very limited today. He has a sore groin. He's only going to be able to play 12 to 15 plays. He can't only move forward. He can't move sideways. Now, offensively, Thurman Thomas told me after the pregame warm-up that his ankle is really bothering him. It's very sore, and he doesn't know how effective he'll be today. Marv?
All right, thank you. Thanks, Jim. David White is in there right now as Steve Bono on first down hands it off to Marcus Allen, and he is stopped by Phil Hansen. A look at the lineups for the Kansas City Chiefs up front, and they have not played well. Alt, Zott, Grunhard, Shields, and Sigler. Alt is playing despite the back problem. The quarterback is Bono, the running backs Allen and Anders, and the receivers LaChapelle, Penn, and the tight end is Walker. And now Greg Hill has checked in as the running back. Play action. And Bono with the time airs it out for Penn. It is intercepted and then dropped. Jeff Burris had a crack at it but could not hold on.
Jeff Burris, Ken Schultz, everybody back there. That was one of those bootlegs that he was going to throw back across the middle. Free safety was there with it. And you see Burris right here. He's running step for step. He's not fooled by anything. And here comes the free safety coming out of the middle right there. That was Matt Stevens, the rookie from Appalachian State. Well covered by the Buffalo Bills.
And
he had it in his hands and couldn't hold on to it.
Sam, the Bills have not forced a turnover in 3 games among their many problems. Buffalo Bills with 3 straight losses. Third down play. Again, Bono steps up and then goes short range and looked like Kimball Anders slipped.
That's going to be the key to this ball game. You notice that the defensive ends of the Buffalo Bills, Bruce Smith and Phil Hansen, were forcing the quarterback up into the pocket. And when Steve Bono was up in the pocket, not as agile, not as mobile, and really not as acrobatic, letting that ball go off.
And this is Louis Aguiar, who appeared in Buffalo's training camp on a number of occasions, went on to the New York Jets, and has settled in with the Kansas City Chiefs. Jeff Burris is back awaiting the punt from Aguiar. And Burris looked like he had decided to make a fair catch, although he did not provide the signal, and then picked up a couple. 40-yard punt, 3-yard return. Troy Dumas able to get to the punt return man. Jim Kelly and the offense stepping on. So the Buffalo Bills will start out from their 34-yard line. This group has not played well. Fina, Brown, Hull, Ostrowski, and Parker. Thurman Thomas, Tim Tyndale, the running backs. Reed, Early, and Johnson are the receivers. And it's an end around. Steve Tasker finding some running room. And taken out by the outside linebacker, Anthony Davis. The Bills love to go with that end around. The front 4 for Kansas City. Neil Smith not having one of his better years. Saliamua back from a shoulder problem. And Browning starting for the injured Vaughn Booker. Thomas, Simeon, and Davis are the linebackers. Stargell playing for the injured Pro Bowler Dale Carter, and William White from Mark Collins, who will play but is not starting because of the flu. Second down and 3, and this is Thurman Thomas, who is hobbled by an ankle problem. Browning and White come up to make the stop.
Big job for John Browning, now replacing Vaughn Booker. He's a rookie, Browning is. Did a good job of getting penetration, and then William White contained the play. There was really nowhere to run.
And Thurman Thomas just short of a first down. John Browning, a 3rd-round draft pick out of West Virginia. The Bills with the double tight end setup. Lonnie Johnson along with Tony Klein. And it's Thomas. And the Chiefs say they stopped him. Tracy Simeon able to make the tackle on Thurman Thomas.
Went on a quick count that time, which is a good call in a 3rd and short. If you can get the defense not quite locked into their stance right there, you can get a little movement by the offensive line. Remember, the offense knows the snap count. That defense has to react to the snap count. But there wasn't much movement, even on this field, which can be a little bit slick in spots, I would imagine. The snow's been falling. The offense got the first move on that one. The defense was reacting, but they didn't get any push. No measure at all. That one was not even close.
And Derek Thomas comes limping off the field. So Chris Moore back to punt at his 30-yard line. Vanover and Hughes are back. And Vanover let it bounce out of bounds. So both teams 3 plays and a punt in their first possession. 33-yard punt. Kansas City will go back to the offense.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Acura, who invites you to test drive the new CL Luxury Sports Coupe. By Compact, has it changed your life yet? By Staples, the office superstore. And by Snickers, not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers. Hungry? Why wait?
Very nicely done.
Very nice. Knows Jim Gray in the back row back there.
Oh, yeah. 3 minutes gone by in this first quarter with no score. And it's Kansas City from its 26-yard line. Marcus Allen able to pick his way out to the 32, stopped by Chris Spielman. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel at our New York studio.
All right, Marv, the Colts looking for a victory to secure a playoff game at home, but the Bengals get on the board first. Jeff Blake, 10-yard strike to David Dunn with the extra point. Cincinnati with a 7-0 lead on the Colts in the first quarter, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. Last week in Kansas City, the Colts defeated the Chiefs by the count of 24-19, a 2nd and 4 for Kansas City from their 32-yard line. And again, it is Allen, this time on a sweep. Makes the turn, but comes up short of the first down. He's taken out by the left corner, Jeff Burris. A look at the defensive unit for the Buffalo Bills. Hanson, Washington, and Smith up front. Bruce Smith may be having the best season of his illustrious NFL career. Bryce Pop did start, but David White came on. Spielman, Covington again for Mark Maddox, who was inactive once again. Burris and Smith in the corners. The rookie Stevens and Scholes are the deep men. Donnell Bennett and Marcus Allen now in the backfield for this 3rd down and 1. A straight ahead move by Allen has the first down and more. Matt Stevens on the stop. We were talking with Marcus Allen last night, and Marcus saying what has hurt us, meaning Kansas City, is the fact that it's not physical. It's been mistakes. We've been too benevolent as you watch Allen rip off the yardage. He says, you know, there are doubters in Kansas City, which is understandable, but he says there are doubters on this team, which he does not appreciate. But Sam, they've dropped 3 of the last 4 games.
That's where the doubting comes from right there. This losses, not wins.
And a first down picked up by Marcus Allen. Gets the call again, finds the running room, and has another first down. Tackled by Kurt Scholes.
This is what Steve Bono calls smash mouth football, what the Kansas City Chiefs do well, and it's straight up the middle. Now, these aren't runs that are going to be cutback runs. They're not going to be misdirection runs. Kimball Anders is the leading blocker right here, but you see Marcus Allen bends back a little bit, but there's not a lot of hard cutting back. And this field's in good shape right now. They've had snow down here, and it's a chance of snow during the ballgame. Right now, it's in good running shape.
First down at the Buffalo 43-yard line. 4 straight carries for Allen, and a flag is tossed. That stops the play. Referee is
all start. Number 89.
Jerry Austin with the call. False start on the tight end Keith Cash. Keith Cash, one of several members of the Chiefs hit with the flu the last couple of days.
We have a correction on the play. Number 78, neutral zone infraction, then 89 move. 5 yards on the defense.
Well, a moment ago, in that last series, we saw Derek Thomas limp off the field. For more on that, let's check in with Jim Gray.
Marv, Derek Thomas was kicked in his left ankle. He's going to be all right. He will return. They're just taping him up. He's okay. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. It is a 1st and 5 for the Chiefs at the Buffalo 38. 9.5 remaining. In the first quarter, we have no score. And Allen trying to pick his way, but this time he is stopped. Met by the strong safety, Matt Stevens, and the outside linebacker, Sam Rogers.
You're going to see it very aggressive against the run. Both defenses are going to be that way. Derek Thomas on the sideline now. He is not looking like, I don't know. You can't tell from an expression like that. In a big game like this, you know, the injuries seem to go away for 4 quarters. They come back a little bit about 5 minutes after 4 o'clock. And this is one of those games, virtual playoff game.
2nd and 8 at the 41-yard line. Allen. Again, the burst by Allen. Marcus Allen running inside the 20-yard line. 23-yard pickup. Sam Rogers made the stop.
What the Chiefs are doing right now is they're de-emphasizing that quarterback role. Number 82, Derek Walker, gets the key block right there. Marty Schottenheimer said he's invaluable to their running game. Just get the ball to the running backs. Don't make Steve Bono become a pivotal part of this ballgame, especially early.
Marcus Allen, 36 years old, will be 37 in March, averaging about 4 yards per carry. He's carried it 7 times for 52 yards in this first quarter. And this time, Kimball Anderson handles for the first time. Stopped by Chris Spielman. Kimball Anders, who has been an excellent receiver, making the Pro Bowl for the 3rd straight year. The Chiefs' leading receiver with 53 receptions.
He's the all-around fullback kind of a guy, Mar. He can catch. He's an excellent blocker. He's the smash-mouth lead blocker that you need in this kind of an offense.
8th play of the drive. It's been all on the ground for Kansas City. 2nd down and 8. Allen finding the hole, gets inside the 10-yard line, and the Kansas City offensive line doing an excellent job in this first quarter. Covington and Spielman combined to make the tackle.
Will Shields, Ricky Sigler off the right side, trying to get up on Chris Spielman. The key to it is, can you get anybody up? And there you see it. The fullback is the lead blocker. Kimball Anders, we just talked about. What you're seeing, though, is you're seeing movement, because Kansas City is asking their linemen to move forward, not to retreat in a pass protection mode.
Marcus Allen and Greg Hill have been the ball carriers in recent weeks. In fact, Hill has been seeing more action. 1st and goal at the 6, and here is Allen right to the goal line.
Well, we thought we'd see a little different matchup right here between the defensive line of the Buffalo Bills and the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Injuries being taken into consideration, the Bills seem to have the edge right here, but they're not doing it. The offensive line of the Chiefs are pushing the Bills backwards.
Alt and Sigler at the tackles. Zott, Shields at the guards. Grunhard, the center, inside the 20. In the red zone, the Kansas City Chiefs have been the best in the NFL. Marcus Allen has not scored since Thanksgiving. And here is Allen, and he's stopped. A loss on the play. Sean Price, 4-year man from Pacific, able to get the wraps on Allen.
Sean Price comes in the goal line defense. Now they go to a 6-man line. They've been lining up with 1 man on the nose. Now they've got men on each side of the nose, and you see Sean Price right there. The blocking schemes change slightly, and when the blocking schemes change, your offense has to talk to each other and make those adjustments. Didn't happen right there.
3rd and goal at the 2. Play fake. Bono throwing in, throws deep to the end zone, incomplete. Intended for Keith Cash, covered by Chris Spielman. So the Chiefs not able to come up with the 6. The field goal unit will check in.
Expecting the run, or at least the Chiefs are selling the run right here. Good fake, really, rolling out to the right side. Just good coverage. The defense of the Buffalo Bills are disciplined. They held their coverage. There was no place to go.
20-yard attempt for Pete Stoyanovich, who started the season 8 for 9, only 6 of his last 12. Puts this one through. Stoyanovich with a 20-yard field goal. It's the Chiefs 3, the Bills nothing.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Well, it certainly was smash-mouth football led by Marcus Allen, ending up with the field goal by Stoyanovich. Experience the NFL all week long on NFL.com, the official website of the NFL, for all of the tackles and touchdowns and a live game day scoreboard. You can click on NFL.com. Aguiar with the line drive kick, and handled by the rookie Eric Moulds, who has speed, looking to pick his way, could not find the opening, and then taken down inside the 25-yard line by Donnie Edwards. 18-yard return, 5:08 left in the first. We'll be back in a moment. Number 58, Derek Thomas, who hobbled off earlier, is all right. Back on the field. Not one of the better seasons for Derek Thomas, although you look at the stats, he has 11 sacks. Did make his 8th consecutive Pro Bowl. But he and Neil Smith have been below their usual standards. Completed to Andre Reed. And he has the first down across the 40. Taken down by James Hasty. It's a pickup of 15 yards.
Just a little short motion by Andre Reed. He lets everybody clear out, and he comes underneath on a shallow cross kind of a pattern. You see him coming right here in motion. He lets everybody clear. He comes underneath the linebackers. Quick throw. Jim Kelly not holding that ball back there very long to start this game.
Jim Kelly looking at a first down at his 40-yard line. And again to throw. Couldn't find anyone. Is hit down and throws it away. The pressure from the right defensive end. John Browning is playing for Vaughn Booker. Let's check in once again with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Marv, the Colts pull even with the Bengals, and they do it with defense. Jeff Blake back to throw, is picked off by Jason Belzo, who returns 21 yards for a touchdown with the extra point. They're all even in Cincinnati. The Colts 7, the Bengals 7, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. Here, 3-0 Kansas City on a 20-yard field goal by Pete Stoyanovich. The Buffalo Bills 2nd and 10 from their 40-yard line with 4:27 left in the first. And Kelly over the middle, completing to Steve Tasker, met by Martin Bayless, Brian Washington, and short, well short of a first down.
Jim Kelly just avoided getting a big hit on the previous play right here. Now watch, just as he feels the pressure, rolls out, gets the ball away right before the hit. That's Browning, John Browning, the rookie. Clean hit, but when your quarterback's laying down with it face into the turf like that, your heart stops for just a second if you're a Buffalo Bill.
It's a 3rd and 3. Look out, here comes the blitz, and Thurman Thomas could not hold on. Martin Bayless was on the move, and Kelly had to get rid of the football and had it right into the hands of Thomas.
Bayless is coming from the side, this side right over here, coming from the backside. Pressure coming quick. Nobody's picking him up. Now, if you're one short of blockers, you've got to have somebody looking quick for the ball. They do. It's Thurman Thomas. He just can't hold on to it. Jim Kelly's gotten hit now 2 of the last 3 times he's set up. He's getting pounded a little bit.
Now the punt by Moore. And the fair catch handled by Tamarick Vanover. 33-yard punt. 3:35 remaining in the first. Moments ago, Derek Thomas headed back to the locker room. Earlier hurt his right ankle. And we'll have a report on that shortly. 3.5 remaining in the first quarter. Chiefs 3, the Bills nothing. And Kansas City starts out from the 20-yard line with Greg Hill, met by the nose tackle, Ted Washington.
Looking back at the play where Derek Thomas hurt his ankle now, you see him lined up right here. Gets rolled up on his right ankle, fighting the tight end, trying to get leverage. Looks like the left ankle more than the right ankle right there, but he's complaining that his right ankle was the one bothering him.
It is a second down and 6. And here's Hill. Hill has terrific speed, that time with a burst. Stopped short of the first down by Spielman and Covington. Well, this is a matchup of two clubs that are going in the wrong direction. Last 4 weeks, take a look at this. The Chiefs have dropped 3 of the last 4 after winning 3 straight. 2 of the Kansas City losses taking place at home, while Buffalo with 3 straight defeats. They come off the Monday night loss in Miami. Bills losing to the Dolphins. Miami had the ball nearly 42 minutes. Buffalo only 18 minutes with the football. Here is Marcus Allen diving for the first down. Covered up by the front 3, Hanson, Washington, and Smith. Now, if Kansas City can win here today, they are in the playoffs. If Buffalo wins, they are in. If Jacksonville loses to Atlanta, that game being played in Jacksonville, both Kansas City and Buffalo would make it no matter what. If Jacksonville wins, they're in, and the loser here is out. Or, Sam, if Buffalo and Kansas City should tie, they both would go in at 9-6-1. The best the Jaguars could do is 9-7. The last tie, though, in the NFL was November of '89. On a reverse, it's Vanover could not find the running room. Just did get back to the line, met by David White, who's playing for the hobbling Bryce Pop.
Both of these defenses are very disciplined. We've seen it on both sides of the ball so far this ballgame. Even David White, who's not the regular, Bryce Pop, the regular outside linebacker, stayed home. Tamarick Vanover may be their best big threat, their home run hitter. You know, on that first drive, they were 68 yards rushing, no yards passing. That's smash mouth football. Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator of the Bills, keeping everybody disciplined on that side.
Second down and 9. Here's Anders, and he's stopped by Bruce Smith, who is hearing his name chanted by the crowd.
I think the key matchup in this ball game is right here. These two guys. Now, John Alt is playing injured, about 80% according to the coach. He's got a bad back. Bruce Smith playing as well as anybody. His contract is coming up. He's got a handshake with the owner that they'll deal with that when the season is over with. And when you're playing coming up on that, you play your best football. I think that's as good a motivator as anything.
And Bruce Smith with 12.5 sacks, making it to the Pro Bowl for the 9th time. 3rd and 8. And Bono's pass incomplete.
Even though it was 3rd and 8, a 3-step drop, a quick throw.
Intended for Danon Hughes, covered by Thomas Smith. Now Steve Bono 0 for his first 4.
Ball is just behind. Bono he's got to be just first time he's got to throw the crucial pass right there. That's about as much emotion as we saw last night talking to him. He is a semi-depressed quarterback playing this game.
Semi-depressed.
I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right, Louis Aguiar with the punt. And Jeff Burris lets it go and takes a good hop for the Chiefs inside the 15-yard line. Number 31, Jerome Woods, able to watch it and down it. 53-yard punt and a good one. Well, Christmas Day. We hope you join us for an exciting NBA doubleheader, starting with NBA Showtime in prime time at 5:30 Eastern. And then game time at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Your Christmas wishes come true, Sam, as Shaquille O'Neal and the Lakers will travel to Phoenix, going up against Kevin Johnson and the Phoenix Suns, who have turned it after the poor start. Game 2, Grant Hill and the Pistons will be in the Windy City taking on Michael Jordan and the defending world champion Chicago Bulls. A holiday NBA doubleheader Christmas Day right here on NBC. The Bills start out from their 14-yard line. George Jamison is playing for the injured Derek Thomas. And here's Thurman Thomas. Stopped by William White as this first quarter comes to an end. So after one here in Buffalo on a Stoyanovich field goal, 3-0 Kansas City.
Welcome back to Buffalo. Derek Thomas of the Kansas City Chiefs has been taken back into the locker room. He's being x-rayed right now. He had his right ankle kicked. He tried to play on it. It was still bothering him, so they're precaution right now to take him in the locker room and examine him, have him x-rayed. He's questionable to return. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. Incidentally, the Museum of Broadcasting has already called our truck asking for the Buffalo defense. Kansas City with a 6-0 lead, 10:46 remaining, second quarter.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By the adjustable Maverick beard and mustache trimmers from Norelco. By the Citizen Watch Company. Citizen is how the world tells time. And by IBM. Season's greetings to a small planet from everyone at IBM.
Well, they were short of a sellout here in Buffalo, short by the Thursday deadline. And as you can see, there are empty seats here at Rich Stadium. Today's game not being televised here in Buffalo. But Marv Levy earlier in the week appealed to the fans for vocal support, and the Bills have been receiving that. In fact, may have contributed to the problem with the snap on that last series. Eric Moulds muffed it on the recovery, runs it out across the 10-yard line, and then makes the turn. Moulds looking to pick up blockers, is taken down. Good recovery, taken down at the 24. A 26-yard return. Jerome Woods on the stop. Well, turnovers have really hurt the Buffalo Bills. Last 4 games, 11 in all, and they have not had any takeaways.
Well, 11 turnovers are bad, but when you don't have any takeaways on the other side of the ball, that compounds everything, leading to 33 points. Really, that could be a lot worse if it wasn't for a very strong defense.
And off that kickoff return, Jerome Woods, who was involved on the tackle, rookie from Memphis, shaken up. First-round draft pick of the Chiefs.
Up at the top of the screen right here, you see right there. Good solid hit by Jerome Woods. Really don't see any twisting or anything like that. Sometimes just the tough hit on a cold day causes an injury.
Timeout called. We'll be right back. There's Jerome Woods, number 31, who was shaken up a moment ago on that kick return. Here's another end around. Steve Tasker fumbles. Looked like Lonnie Johnson, the tight end, covered up. Well, Derek Thomas is back on the field. He sprinted straight from the locker room area and right to his spot at outside linebacker. Back for this series, bothered by an injured ankle.
We got the K-gun going now. This is what Jim Kelly likes to do. They're running it from 2 formations today.
6-0 Chiefs. We are early second quarter. Well, the completion to Derek Holmes. A short pickup met by Martin Bayless. The Buffalo Bills offensive unit has been ineffective right throughout the season. The offensive line has not played well. Jim Kelly has not done it this season. It's been an injury hit year. Thurman Thomas has been bothered by assorted injuries right throughout. Kelly has not been comfortable with Quinn Early. Andre Reed is still his guy. He's the guy he looks for.
Not a lot left. He dinged it all.
Third down play. Kelly getting the time, going sideline. And this time he does find Quinn Early. And a first down. It's a 21-yard hookup. But for Early, who has been quiet in recent weeks, that is his 48th catch of the season.
Going up against Tony Stargell. He gets the clean release. Tony Stargell likes the bump and run. You see his arms all around him, but he doesn't stop and start as well as Early does. And then after that, the catch and the run straight up the field for the extra yards.
And Kelly 4 of 7, 45 yards. He has been picked off once. This is Holmes. Eric Holmes with a stutter step. Brought down by the strong safety, Brian Washington.
Now in the K-gun, Jim Kelly is going to be a little bit calmer. He kind of goes back into a huddle. It's a semi-huddle. They just go back to talk a minute, a little privacy in the huddle, and then right to the line. But he gives him a chance to look Holmes in the eye and make sure he's got the play.
Second down and 5. And Kelly threw it away. He had nothing going. That was in the direction of the tight end, Lonnie Johnson.
You know, talking about their offense, Jim Kelly pointed out that in years past, they've had more veterans back there, and when Thurman Thomas was back there, the K-gun was easier to operate. He knew what to do. Now with Holmes in the backfield, he's got to be a little more careful to make sure everybody knows what to do. They've limited today's offense to 2 formations. They had 3 last week and got a little confused.
Third down and 5, and that was almost ball's intercepted by Anthony Davis, who earlier this second quarter picked one off, and Jim Kelly is hearing it from the crowd.
They're getting a little predictable. They're going to the same area of the field. Anthony Davis intercepted the last ball before anybody else looked for it on the Buffalo Bills side. Almost had that one.
Anthony Davis, a free agent find, worked his way into the lineup last season, originally an 11th round pick of Houston. And here's Chris Moore punting to Tamarick Vanover. Gets the hang time. They're not looking to give Vanover a clear shot at the ball. This one is angled out. It's a 41-yard punt. So the Chiefs will get it back when we return. Back in Buffalo, we found a guy who was kind of wandering around the stadium aimlessly. Paul Maguire yesterday was part of the telecast team involved with handling the New England Giant game, and lives here in Buffalo, and apparently was thrown out of his house.
I was wandering around. Sam said, "Why don't you want something to do? Come on in for a little while." That's the only reason I'm here.
Will you stay for a couple of seconds?
Here? I'll stay with Sam. Yeah, I don't mind being with Sam. I really don't. You? Hey.
I also take in lost animals too, so don't get too excited here.
All right, Paul Maguire joining us here in the booth. 6-0 the score. The Chiefs on top. And the Chiefs back to the offense. Greg Hill gets the call. Stopped by the nose tackle, Ted Washington.
You know, Paul, you brought up an interesting point, which would be one in a row for you so far, about what you think the Buffalo Bills ought to be doing to copy the Chiefs.
Exactly. Do exactly what the Chiefs are doing. The Chiefs are hurting, and so are the Bills in their offensive line. You can't be running reverses and long plays when your offensive line's breaking down. You've got to go directly at them.
Sam and I did the game against the Indianapolis Colts. Buffalo kept going to the reverse 4 times, and it did not work at all. Here's Greg Hill trying to get to the outside, and then submarined across the 20-yard line by the right corner, Thomas Smith.
You know, Greg Hill earlier in the year was deactivated for the Denver game, came back against Minnesota, gained over 100 yards, and has been a big part of their offense ever since. Going to bounce the ball outside now. It's designed to go wherever he sees it. You see Will Shields, the lead blocker, find the open area and run over the last guy.
It is a 3rd down and 2 at the 20. Just under 7 minutes remaining in the first half. And again to the ground. Hill is stopped. Gabe Northern, the rookie from LSU, making the tackle.
You know, Sam made a point earlier. It's never really been the problem of the defense. I mean, they've been on the field a long time. What, Miami, 42 minutes they were on the field. Right. Offensively, they cannot afford to go 3 and out and put the defense out there that long, especially against a team that's as big as the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, they've only had one big play. That was a 21-yard completion to Early. The other 3 times they were 3 and out, 4 and out, and then 2 in the interception.
3rd punt of the day for Aguiar. Snap, just did get it off, and hops across the 45-yard line. A 37-yard punt. 6 minutes, 8 seconds remaining. First half, it's the Chiefs 6 and the Bills nothing. Welcome back to Buffalo. Marv Albert, Sam Wyche, Jim Gray. We're joined by Paul Maguire. First half possessions. Buffalo Bills not able to get anything going. 57 yards, their first 4 possessions. And here's Thurman Thomas finding the opener. Just short of the first down.
That's all they got to do, right, Sam?
That's it. Why aren't they listening to you? They pull. Glenn Parker is going to pull from the right to the left. And the ball to Thurman Thomas. There's, you see the block right there. Cuts right up into the hole. 2nd down and 2. Nice, easy first down.
And Thurman Thomas has got over the 1,000-yard rushing mark for the 8th straight year, and he adds to that with another good move for the first down. Brought down by James Hasty.
The reason we mentioned that before, Sam and I were talking about it, is that when you have a line that's as banged up as this team is, and they just can't hold blocks long enough. So what you got to do is just give them the easiest block that they can make, and that's the guy in front of them.
First down at the 40, off the delay. Again, Thomas. Time trying the right side, met by Martin Bayless.
This time they pull Reuben Brown going to the right side, and they're going straight ahead. They're doing what, Paul, you said the Kansas City Chiefs did earlier. movement forward, not in a retreat and not putting themselves in a difficult situation. Let them just fire out and knock somebody down.
Second down play, the completion to Reed. Sideline pattern for another Buffalo first down, taken out by Tony Stargell. Stargell playing for the injured Dale Carter, and that is a major loss, obviously, for the Chiefs.
See the hips of Tony Stargell right there. He's got his hips turned, his legs are crossing over. Anytime you've got a guy doing that, you can put the little stop on him real quick if the ball's thrown on time.
And a first down at the 25-yard line. Kelly with the time. And able to complete inside the 20 to Reed. Met by Stargell, so they're working on Tony Stargell.
You know, one of the things, Sam, is when you run the ball with success, the pass is always open. I mean, it just makes it so much easier. And especially when you're playing against two corners that like to look back into the backfield and look at the quarterback.
That time I think they wanted to go deep and it wasn't there, and he was disciplined enough to lay it off short. But you're right, it opens up everything else.
Coming up on 4 minutes to go in the half. Kevin Thomas with a straight ahead move, met by Anthony Davis, who tripped him up. Your partner, Phil Simms, called the truck, said he's very upset that he is not here in Buffalo with you. Now he's in New York, so obviously watching the game on direct TV, couldn't find a good college basketball game, so he's dialing around.
It gives you an idea what kind of an exciting life he lives. Huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, he misses you, Paul.
I know he does. He's mad because I don't have my jacket on.
Oh, I know. What's today, Sunday? It's your day to keep up with him, too.
Right.
Here you are.
The official NBC jacket, not part of the apparel here, Paul. It is a third down and 2 at the 17. 6-0. Kansas City on top. And a flag is thrown.
Ball start. Number 79. 5 yards. It's still third down.
The left guard, Reuben Brown. Chicago Suns, a new must-see comedy. These brothers know what it takes to throw a party, Paul.
Stripper. You're late. The party's over.
Oh, well, I've already been paid. I could dance for you three.
Chicago Suns starting January 8th on NBC. Kelly, after taking the long look, goes incomplete. The coverage by Hasty on Reed. Crowd looking for a call on James Hasty.
Really good protection that time, because that was the very last option that he had. James Hasty almost called for reaching around the backside. Good solid protection. Reed falls down, and now he goes back to where he came from. That's where the quarterback feels like he's got a chance outside, but just off the mark.
4th and 7, and Steve Christie has come on. A 41-yard attempt. He drills it right through. 41-yard field goal by Christie. 2:54 left. In this first half, it has been a field goal duel to this point. Kansas City up by 3. Back in Buffalo, 2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the first half. It is the Kansas City Chiefs 6 and the Buffalo Bills 3. 3 straight losses for Buffalo coming into today. Kansas City has dropped 3 of the last 4. This is for a playoff berth. If the Chiefs win, they're in. If the Bills win, they're in. However, there are a couple of other possibilities. If Jacksonville loses to Atlanta, both Kansas City and Buffalo make it no matter what happens here. If Jacksonville wins, they are in, and the loser here is out. And then, as we mentioned earlier, should this game end in a tie, which is a bit on the improbable side, Jacksonville would be out. Vanover on the return. And is able to reach out across the 25-yard line. Well, coming up next, don't miss the conclusion of the Lexus Challenge hosted by Raymond Floyd, celebrities Kevin Costner, Sean Connery, Ken Griffey Jr., and others will pair up with golf's biggest names like Arnold Palmer and Chichi Rodriguez, and the host, Raymond Floyd. That's coming up next right here on NBC. First down at the 28-yard line. Todd McNair has checked in for the first time. And this is Anders getting to the outside, running well across the 35-yard line, reaching out to the first down marker, stopped by the right corner, Thomas Smith.
The Chiefs still don't want to put too much pressure on Bono, even though we approach the 2-minute situation. Line up in a wide set, 3 wide receivers, run the draw play. Kimball Anders, big, strong running back, bounces off 2nd and 1.
And here is Anders again, and has a first down. Phil Hansen on the stop as we come up on 2 minutes remaining in this first half. So there is the warning provided. The Chiefs 6 and the Bills 3 will be back in Buffalo in a moment. Two minutes remaining in this first half. Kansas City 6 and Buffalo 3. Jacksonville leading Atlanta 10-3 in the second quarter. So right now, the Chiefs and the Bills need a win or, dare I say it, tie?
Don't say tie.
I'm sorry. Anders and McNair on the running back. First down play. Bono can't find anyone and throws it away. Sam Rogers with the rush on Bono. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, in Carolina, Pittsburgh quarterback Mike Tomczak has only thrown for 25 yards today, but 6 of them right here to Andre Hastings. And then the Steelers recovered an onside kick. They have the ball. They trail the Carolina Panthers 9-7, just under 9.5 to play in the first half. Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. And Greg will bring us up to date at halftime with all the scores and highlights from around the NFL. Steve Bono now 1 of 6, only 9 yards. Second down and 10 at the 41. It is back to the ground. Anders could not make the turn.
Anders, the ball carrier.
Thomas Smith on the stop of Kimball Anders. Well, coming up, the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel, Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka, and Chris Collinsworth bringing you all the scores and highlights from around the league. Second down, rather third down play. And again, Bono facing the pressure, has to throw it away.
They had Buffalo in a position, Sam. Bryce Pop was trying to get in the game, had no idea where he was going to line up, and then he just falls into the backfield. This is one of the worst plays I've seen. This shows me no confidence in the offense as far as throwing the football, because they had 3 timeouts remaining, Sam, and they didn't let him throw the football.
He's 1 for 7 for 9 yards, Steve Bono is, but they had too many men on the field. They had Buffalo with too many men, couldn't get the ball off, and then had to throw the ball away on a poor play on third down.
So here's Louis Aguilar punting to Jeff Burris with 1:24 left in the half. Oh, he just did get it away. Burris with the return. Oh, Burris with a nice move. Out to midfield. And then coughed it up. But recovered by the Bills. A 37-yard punt, 28-yard return, and a penalty marker is down.
Well, we've seen, I guess you have 2 flags on almost every punting kickoff play. The kicking game is the flag play.
You know the only problem with this whole thing, Sam, and when you were a coach, and I know coaches tell players, see, when they have a name on the back.
From behind, number 51, during the run back, 10 yards, first down.
When you can see the guy's name, you don't hit him. I mean, it's a very simple thing. You got a guy, I see his name, and I don't hit him. There's the block coming right in there. I mean, it's just amazing to me that these guys, I don't know why when they think they can block a guy from the back and get away with it, Sam, in an open field.
Part of the problem is that it's in the open field. You see the block right up here in the right of your screen. In the open field, everybody's got a lot of room to move, and so they maneuver just at the last moment sometimes. But you're right. The first day of training camp, they start talking about that one.
Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining with 1:08 to go. And Buffalo from its 20-yard line. Kelly over the middle. Spinning move by the tight end, Lonnie Johnson, but short on the first down. Anthony Davis, Keith Traylor combined to make the stop for Johnson, his first catch.
And a total mistake by Johnson. You got to get the first down. I mean, you got 9 yards, just turn it upfield, get the first down. You're not going to run away from anybody.
Second and about a yard. And Kelly's pass is completed. No, it's waved off. Apparently, yes, he was inbounds. Andre Reed with the catch in front of Brian Washington, and it's good for 16.
The crowd was just reacting because they thought it was a late hit. Right along the sideline. Both feet are in. He's in good shape. He's not clearly out of bounds. You know, you've got to make sure of it, but boy, an official could call that one right there.
That was an easy one to call. You know, you're thinking, but actually the defender didn't do anything wrong.
And again, Kelly completes to Reed. Hit by Darren Anderson. 5th catch of the day for Andre Reed inside the midfield stripe with 36 seconds remaining of the half. A timeout taken by Buffalo. So we'll take a break. Back at Rich Stadium in a moment. Back in Buffalo, Marv Albert, Sam Wyche. We thought we were joined momentarily by Paul Maguire. Sam, the guy won't leave.
I'm not going anywhere. You can't hear me. You know, Sam, how many times have you seen this after a game and people are going to be saying, well, why didn't they do that the first 28 minutes of the first half? Why did they wait till the last 2 minutes to move the ball down the field?
Oh, because they're not getting this defense right here. A soft zone.
2nd down and 3. And Kelly able to complete within that soft zone. And the fumble by Tasker. The Chiefs able to come up with the football. Darren Anderson on the recovery.
Well, that's part of it. You get guys, even after they catch the ball, they're coming from everywhere because they're in a zone. They're following the ball, and you get a chance for those kind of hits. But you're right. That's a good question. As a coach, I did it, and I don't have an answer.
And this is his second, Tasker's second fumble of this game. He fumbled one, they got the ball back, and this one is costly. You've got to put the ball away. Steve knows better than this.
You know, the rule is to put your hand over the front end of the ball, hug it into your body. You see the hand is not all the way over the front end of the ball. Back in grade school, they used to say you're carrying it like a loaf of bread or something like that. The ball is not totally protected from those quick hits.
Tony Stargell with the hit to unleash the footballs. Darren Anderson with the cover-up. Kent Hull was shaken up on the play. And now Kansas City will just run it out. Final seconds of the first half. So 2 field goals by Pete Stoyanovich from 20 and from 24. Steve Christie hit from 41. And that's the story. The Chiefs 6 and the Bills 3 at halftime. Both clubs heading back to the locker room. And we'll head to New York. Let's go to Greg Gumbel at our studios in Manhattan.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our studios here in New York, along with Joe Gibbs, Mike Ditka, Chris Collinsworth. I'm Greg Gumbel. Let's run through the scores and the highlights for you, beginning with the game at Rich Stadium in Buffalo. Field goal contest so far, and a 6-3 Chiefs lead over the Buffalo Bills. Joe.
Cold weather. Hey, it's tough to score. You're going to have to protect the football. Buffalo right back, turning the ball over again. They've had 14 in the last 5 games. They've had 2 here in the first half. It's killing them. I think Kansas City's kind of made up their mind. Marty Schottenheimer, we're going to run the football. And when you take a look at it, 27 rushes, 7 passes, and he's probably right. Bono's got 1 completion for 9 yards.
Okay, for the 8th straight season, Thurman Thomas over 1,000 yards rushing. In Cincinnati, the Colts looking for a home playoff game with a win today. They are tied at 10. Lindy Infanti's Colts coming into the action. They saw Jeff Blake and the Bengals playing the role of spoilers early on. 10-yard touchdown pass, Blake to David Dunn. 7-0 Cincinnati. Later, Blake picked off by Jason Belzer, who returned 21 yards for the tying touchdown. A field goal put the Bengals ahead, but the Colts have just pulled even, and it's a 10-10 tie as they approach halftime. Chris?
You know, you can't say enough about the job that Larry Peccatello and this defensive staff of the Bengals are doing. They got fired this past week by Bruce Cozza when he was named the head coach, yet they come into this football game, and the only touchdown scored by the Colts so far has been on that interception return.
All right, in Jacksonville, the Jaguars, winners of 5 of their last 6 games, are looking to make it another one. They lead the Atlanta Falcons by a score of 13-3. Meanwhile, in Carolina, Pittsburgh leading the Panthers by a score of 14-9. With a win today, Dom Capers and the Panthers win the NFC West. 49ers interested as they watch today? You bet. Carolina's opening drive, Kerry Collins to Wesley Walls, 9 yards and a touchdown. Carolina up 7-0. Second quarter, Pittsburgh quarterback Mike Tomczak getting pressured all day, called for intentional grounding. That's a safety and a 9-0 Panthers lead. On 3rd and goal, Tomczak pump fakes and finds wide receiver Andre Hastings in the end zone for the touchdown, but slash. from his own 20. Cordell Stewart fakes a pass, decides to run. I don't think anybody's going to get him. An 80-yard touchdown.
Chris called it.
And the Panthers are leading it by a score of 14-9. Mike?
Big time Sandlot football right there. But that's the unpredictability. And Chris hit it right on the button. You put this guy in, he's going to make something happen because he's such a great athlete. I tell you the other thing, too. You know, everybody talks about Carolina, and right, they should. That defense is great. But Bill Cowher knows that defense as well as anybody, and he's going to know the best way to attack it. And they've done a very good job so far.
All right, go on.
Not that I want to say. Tom Zach did throw the touchdown pass. He did throw it. Then they put him right on the bench. He's had problems with the ankle and with his back and some different things. But that opened the door for Cordell, and right around.
All right, in Green Bay, the Packers, winners of 4 in a row. Minnesota, winners of 4 of 5. Packers lead it by a score of 10-7. At the Meadowlands, the New York Jets leading the Miami Dolphins by a score of 14-0. Rich Kotite coaching his last game for the Jets. He stepped down Friday. Dan Marino to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, hit hard by Matt Brock. The fumble is picked up by Hugh Douglas, who takes it 62 yards for his first NFL touchdown, and the Jets lead it 7-0. Still in the first quarter, Adrian Morrell gets the call. He goes in from a yard out. He just barely got in and appreciated the call by the official, so he gave him a little hug. And the Jets go up by a score of 14-0, and Miami needing a victory today to finish the season at 500. In Philadelphia, the Eagles hosting the Cardinals, leading it by a score of 16-3. In Baltimore, Houston and the Ravens, the Oilers lead at 17-7. And in Tampa, the fired-up Tampa Bay Bucks with a 28-7 lead on the Chicago Bears. When we come back, we'll take a look at the playoff picture in both conferences. But first, a word from the NFL and these messages from your local station.
Pizza NFL on NBC Halftime Report, brought to you by Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's. Now,
welcome back, everyone. Let's talk about the playoff picture, beginning first in the NFC, where all 6 teams have now been determined. Interesting thing here is it appears that Dallas and San Francisco could both be playing wild card games. And Joe, you remember way back at the beginning of the season when the Cowboys started without Michael Irvin, everyone said, wait till Michael Irvin gets back, that offense is going to click in. It hasn't done that.
I think they got one more day to try and get things straightened out this afternoon against the Redskins. But I'll tell you, I think they've kind of developed, you just don't turn things off and on. Right now, they're struggling on offense. They're going to have to win with defense. And I tell you what, they didn't want to try and do this. This you do not want to go as a wild card team. We tried it with the Redskins. We couldn't do it. Maybe San Francisco and Dallas can do it, but hey, it's a long, tough road.
You know, the one thing about the Dallas Cowboys, and I think it's been their major problem all season, has been their inability to run the football, especially down around the red zone. When they were winning their championships, they just took the ball in the red zone. They didn't have to throw it. They just plowed people right back, and Emmett ran in for the touchdown. And now this season, they're simply unable to do that, and it's really cost them offensively.
Meanwhile, with the 49ers, Mike, we were talking early on about how Steve Young could get killed behind that offensive line. This has now become a pretty potent team.
Well, they got some people healthy, but Steve Young very quietly has taken over the lead as the NFL's leading passer, and he's got Jerry Rice. When he's got Jerry Rice, they got. But the thing that they win with defense. That defense has only given up one 100-yard rushing game in the last 22 games. That is unbelievable when you think about it.
All right, in the AFC, Denver and New England have byes and will host divisional playoff games. The big question here is, can anybody beat Denver at Mile High Stadium? What kind of team is going to be able to do that?
You know, the team that I think has the best chance is New England, and we saw a little bit of it yesterday when they put in Dave Meggett, replaced Curtis Martin, also have Keith Byers in the backfield. This is a team that now is saying, we're not even going to try to run it. We're just going to throw it, and if Denver still has a weakness, I think it's in that secondary.
Hey, but I got to tell you, Chris, can you imagine this Elway back there against that, against that pass defense of New England? I mean, he's going to have a field day, really. At least you would think that's the mismatch in this game. They're going to have a tough time going up there and beating them. I think Elway's back there right now. He's sharpening things up, getting ready to go.
I disagree. I think the only way you're going to beat Denver is you got to have a team that can take time off the clock and keep their offense off the field. You got to punish Denver's defense, and I mean you got to run the ball at them and take time off. That's the only way you're going to beat. If you go out there and you get in one of these contests with John Elway, you're out of time quick.
Okay, our NFL and NBC halftime activities continue.
Back in Buffalo, the Chiefs with a 6-3 lead on the Bills. Marv Albert with Sam Wyche and Paul Maguire. Paul wearing the talent apparel from the early 50s.
After I had a bomb run.
Right. Paul joined us in the second quarter, refused to leave. Sam, looking at the first half, Bono 1 of 7, 9 yards. That's been it.
And everything else has been on the ground, and even in third down situations when they had a lot of yards to pick up, they still went back to the ground. What you're seeing is a quarterback that doesn't think he's got the confidence of the coaches, and he's getting it proven and seconded here in this ball game, the way they're calling the plays.
And how about the Bills?
I think the Bills shorten up their offense. 2 or 3 running plays that are straight ahead. Don't get fancy with it. And when you're going to pass, stay out of the middle. He's having trouble. Jim Kelly's having trouble reading the linebacker, so stay out of the middle. Stay to the outside, where that's where he's been most successful, Sam.
Well, let's check out the Coors Light halftime statistics. Look at the possession for Kansas City, but they have not been able to do much with it. Almost 20 minutes with the ball in the first half. 103 yards on the ground by Kansas City. Marcus Allen, 14 carries, 72 yards, accounting for that. Bono, as we said, 1 of 7, just 9 yards. Jim Kelly picked up the stats late in the second quarter, and he's 10 of 16 for the half.
You almost didn't have to put Bono's picture up there.
But they have a 3-point lead now, but if they are trailing late in the game, that's when those stats are going to be real big, because that's when the quarterback has to come into the ball game to win it for him.
Louis Aguiar getting set to kick it off to the combination of Eric Moulds and Russell Copeland. And this third quarter is underway. Here comes Moulds. Once again tried to get to the outside, broke a tackle and then had it stripped. The Chiefs say they haven't. No official word.
Right here, I think they need to talk about this in the competition committee next year. You got a big pile up. Everybody jumps in the pile to leave the ball under the pile longer, so your guy maybe has a chance to recover it.
And Kansas City has recovered.
Second big turnover in favor of Kansas City. Anthony Davis had the interception in the first half, and now the fumble recovery.
Danon Hughes is the guy, number 83, that just strips the ball away. He almost had the ball in his hands. He'd been gone for a touchdown. Number 83 is Danon Hughes. Watch him. Peels out to the outside, then reaches in and just strips the ball from Moulds. Good play.
Danon Hughes, backup wide receiver, making the play. The Chiefs first down at the Buffalo 27. And Marcus Allen on the slant.
Marcus Allen, the ball carrier.
So Allen gets the call, stopped by Chris Spielman. Let's check in with Jim Gray on the field. Jim?
All right, Marv, it was a very angry and unhappy Buffalo locker room. Marv Levy doesn't say much, but they really got a tongue lashing these players from themselves. The most vocal was Bruce Smith, who really got after the team. He said, I don't care if I hurt anybody's feelings. We better do much better here in the second half. Now, as for Marty Schottenheimer, he said he won't take any chances. He'll continue with his running game. He sees no reason to change. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. Second down and 8 for the Chiefs at the Bills 25. Allen. And he stopped just a short pickup. Phil Hansen, the left defensive end, making the tackle.
Bruce Smith is a big factor regardless of whether it's a run or a pass. More of a factor when they get into the passing game. But you see there's no movement right there. Everything's stacked up, the ball comes to him.
Are you surprised, Sam, or they didn't come out at least, I mean, play action pass, something to put the ball in the air with Bono? I mean, it really hampers a team. You restrict this whole football team to run between tackles.
Shows the lack of confidence.
Steve Bono back as the starting quarterback. Rich Gannon bothered by the pulled hamstring. Play action. And you saw the play action succeed with Kimball Anders. And he has a first down. Taken down by backup free safety Manny Martin. It's a pickup of 12.
If you keep calling plays like this with all the openings in the league right now, it could be yours. A little play action fake. Back slips out. Kimball Anders, one of the better receivers on the field out there. And straight up the sideline. By the way, in the first half, Sean LaChapelle was injured, and now Tamarick Vanover is playing flanker and has for the entire first series here.
First down at the 12. You saw the scores flashing by. Jacksonville leading Atlanta 13-3 in the third quarter. Marcus Allen inside the 10, met by Washington. And Smith, the word on Sean LaChapelle, a back contusion suffered, and his return is questionable. As it is, the Kansas City Chiefs are thin in the receiving end. So LaChapelle is down for the moment. That's why Vanover is out there along with Penn. It's a 2nd down and 7 at the 9. Inside handoff for Andrews. And just a couple. Hanson, Washington, and Smith make the stop.
You know, Sam, at the beginning of the year, this team, the Kansas City Chiefs, they had 20 out of 22 starters return. But the big part of their offense was wide receivers. And when they lost at the beginning of the year, the first or second game, when they lost to Lake Dawson, they really got into a lot of trouble. And that's when they really started to have to run the football.
And then, of course, making the change at quarterback because they felt like they had to have some mobility. Then Rich Gannon is hurt, and we're back with Steve Bono without those receivers.
3rd and 6. Short set by Bono, and he fires incomplete. Intended for Allen, who was covered by Covington.
Well, I know why they just run play-action passes and throw it to the back, because that ball was, I mean, that ball wasn't even close.
There could have not have been interference because it was an uncatchable throw.
He was in a 10-yard route. Look at this. Watch where the ball is.
Ball's got to be tighter in there. Those are inside throws. Now, Steve Bono wants a flag, wants something to happen at the other end out there. The pass certainly wasn't part of it.
So it's a 26-yard field goal attempt for Stoyanovich. And he is 3 for 3 on the day. 11:22 remaining. 3rd quarter, Kansas City up 9-3.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Buick and your local dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. By Transamerica, the power of the pyramid is working for you. By Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans. And by Compact. Has it changed your life yet?
Back in Buffalo, it is all on the line for the Chiefs and the Bills, with Jacksonville in front of Atlanta now 13-3 in the 3rd quarter. And here is Moulds, who just moments ago fumbled on his kickoff return. This time holds on as he brings to the 20-yard line. It's a 10-yard return. Jerome Woods on the stop. This has really hurt the Buffalo Bills. Last 4 games, 13 turnovers, which have led to 36 points by their opponent.
You know, if a deep
illegal block from behind, you're in the run back, number 31 of the receiving team. Half a distance to the goal. 1st down.
There's a flag. It must have been a kicking play.
You know, you say it right out, Sam.
I'm sorry. Was that out of place?
That's good. That's right where it was on a kicking play. I couldn't believe that Moulds let the ball drop. I think he wanted it to go out of bounds. That's what he was waiting on, and he didn't do that. And he set up the holding penalty.
So the Bills start out from their 6-yard line. And Kelly able to complete. And it's dropped. Lonnie Johnson had it, started a run, and then was able to cover up.
You know, they're still doing the same thing. They're throwing to the same area right in the middle and really on a delayed throw. Jim Kelly's holding that ball a long time.
It is a completed pass, and Johnson able to fall on the football. Pickup of 8, 2nd down and 2. Thurman Thomas looking to pick up the 1st down, met by Joe Phillips. Joe Phillips, as you guys know, is an attorney. Now, both he and his wife are attorneys. There's no punchline to that.
No, they can sue each other. Yeah, it's really good.
Just pointing it out as some
winner keeps the money in the family.
Yes, right. Joe, though, is also a stockbroker.
There is no punchline to that.
3rd down and about a yard. And Kelly in trouble. Finds the open man and has a 1st down and more. Steve Tasker works his way to midfield, where he's met by William White.
Sam, you know, this is a play where you show absolute confidence in yourself as a pro. Jim Kelly could have run for the 1st down very easily, but he waits and he looks downfield, and 2 guys with experience do something here. First, Kelly getting outside and throwing the ball, and Steve Tasker getting into the open area.
And you've got to work to get open down the field, and that's mobility is important. And Jim Kelly's not the mobile quarterback, but he was mobile there, and it made a big play for him.
Play that goes for 35 yards. Fake reverse, and then the reverse for Early. Breaks a tackle, has the first down and more. Anthony Davis, the last man back, was able to get to him. So the Bills execute a successful reverse. This one for 28 yards.
They faked the reverse one way and came back the other way. The early reverses set this kind of thing up. Now Early's at the very end of this breaking the tackle makes this the big play. It was a good play to begin with.
And look who's downfield with him, the center, Ken Hall.
First down at the 21-yard line. Derek Holmes got the call, lost a yard. Anthony Davis, who has been very active, making that stop.
You know, in tight games like this, playoff kind of games like this, the margin of error is so slim. One mistake, one missed tackle like that can make the difference in the ball game.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11. Oh, Kelly had it knocked away, and the loose ball nearly picked up by Kansas City, and then Lonnie Johnson was able to get to it.
This is a dumb play by a linebacker, and I think it was a linebacker. I'm not sure.
Ditto. I agree with you.
I mean, you don't try to pick up the ball. You're in a crucial game. You get the ball back, and it may be Derek Thomas. The ball is outside. What? Fall on it. Just fall on the ball. When you try to pick it up, bad things happen, and the Bills get it back.
Derek Thomas made the play, knocked it loose, but you're right. Just fall on it, get possession, give it to the offense.
8 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. It is a 3rd and 23 back at the 34. Play clock down to 1. And a timeout. Timeout called, preventing the delay of game. Well, apparently a delay of game was called. Yes. So they'll move it back 5 more yards. Well, Indianapolis and Cincinnati tied at 10 in the 3rd quarter. As we mentioned, Jacksonville leading Atlanta in the 3rd, 13-3. And if Jacksonville holds on and wins, it means the winner here goes to the playoffs. The loser does not. Kelly slipped, was able to recover, throwing on the run, and does complete. But well short of the first down as Quinn Early on that improvisation made the stop. Rather made the catch with Tony Stargell on his back.
You know what's amazing, Sam? We were in New York yesterday doing a game, and it was about 25 degrees colder on the field than it is today. There was not one fumble in the ball game, and we have guys running around here just dropping the ball, not even getting hit.
These are careless mistakes, too. It's not because of the weather. These are just careless mistakes.
All right, Steve Christie on a 48-yard attempt. And it is short and wide. It was a 4th down and 19. And Christie, who earlier hit from 41, attempted from 48, and it is off the mark. Another update, Indianapolis and Cincinnati tied at 10 in the 3rd. If the Colts win, they're in the playoffs. And Jacksonville 13-3 over Atlanta still, 3rd quarter. And if Jacksonville holds on and wins, they are in unless, and that's a big unless.
Don't say it. It's going to happen if you say it.
Well, for reporting purposes, I must say, if they should tie here. The Chiefs with a 9-3 lead on the Bills. Marcus Allen stopped by Ted Washington. Well, just moments ago, you guys discussing Derek Thomas not falling on the football, try to pick it up, and Marty Schottenheimer in a discussion regarding that subject.
And with arms around him, that's not to show emotion. That's to make sure he doesn't leave the scene. He wants to talk to him for a while.
And the worst part about it is that here's the play where he comes out and tries to pick up the ball, strips the ball, and then tries to pick it up instead of falling on it. The other thing about it, they got him in both places. They put him on the headset so everybody in the booth got him, and then the coach gets him right in his face.
Conference call.
In effect, Sam, did you have players trying to get away from you?
All the time, yes.
Here's Bono completing the pass to Vanover. And a first down. That's good for 19 for Steve Bono. only his third completion. He's now 3 for 11.
Vanover may be their one big play guy, being in the ball game right now in place of LaChapelle. He's going to have a chance to make that big play. A lot of speed. He's the return man. A lot of breakaway, a lot of moves.
But you know, on that play when Bono went back, Sam, that was not his primary target, as you know. I mean, he was looking at a 3-yard pattern is what he wanted to throw, and he'd say, whoa, look at this guy open.
Only took 3 steps in his drop.
First down at the Buffalo 41-yard line. Looked like to be a busted play as Anders took it, and then the ball was knocked loose. Play is whistled dead. Bruce Smith on the stop.
Bruce Smith right here against John Alt. The inside move, the quick down inside, and that was a predetermined move. He wasn't reading anything. He was coming down hard inside, but the snap count was all screwed up. Will Shields was pulling on that one and didn't seem to work out.
Can you be more precise?
Yes. Can you say that?
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Why not?
Second down and 12 at the 43. Off the play fake. Bono went short range looking for Allen.
And Marcus Allen went short arm. Threw that ball, and Marcus saw a couple of blue shirts standing there, and that ball's coming. He said, I don't know if I really want to catch this baby.
Pressure quick from Sam Rogers on that one. Not only were they bringing Bruce Smith, but the linebacker from the same side.
Here's what I'm talking about, Sam. Watch old Marcus. This ball could... No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
That's why right there.
Third down and 12. Bono facing pressure, lost it, and Buffalo has recovered. Phil Hansen falling on the ball.
Oh, Sam, they worked the deal with that defensive line with Bruce Smith. It was beautiful.
He came back inside. They finally freed him up. Now watch him come back inside. Couldn't quite get back to him. Dave Zott was trying, but he couldn't get there. Just enough on the ball to fumble.
So the Bills get it back. 4:36 remaining. Third quarter. Chiefs lead by 6 points.
This is the NFL on NBC.
Welcome back to Buffalo. Marv Albert, Sam Wyche, Paul Maguire, Jim Gray. 4:36 left, third quarter. Bills taking over. Here's Thurman Thomas. Stopped by Derek Thomas.
Phil Hansen and Bruce Smith working a little game. Bruce Smith came free, stripped the ball loose. Earlier in the year, Paul, I believe that Marty was a little upset with Bono on fumbles, about fumbles.
Watch out!
And Kelly able to complete to Tasker. Steve Tasker is rolled down, taken down by William White. And that's good for 29 yards.
You know, it's amazing when a guy comes out in the press and says one of my favorite targets is Steve Tasker. When he's in a ball game, he means so much to this team, and then they let him go right down the middle of the field all by himself.
They're reading the same clippings. It's a zone, and he just finds the hole in the zone, drop it over the linebacker's head.
And a 1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. The Chiefs with a 9-3 lead on the Bills. Kelly with the audible. Kelly throws it away. You see Kelly wincing in pain as he gets up.
Well, you know, what they're doing and what good teams do on defense, when you get that shot on the quarterback, I don't care if he unloads the ball or not, just take that shot and you'll wear this guy down. This is a big, strong quarterback, Sam.
He's taking a lot of shots from the very first part of this ball game, and you're right, it does wear it. Even though you don't get hit hard, just going down, having to get up wears you out.
Second down and 10. Thurman Thomas stopped by Neil Smith. They faked the reverse, which has been successful, and it ended up as a run by Thomas.
The reverse has been a big part of the game plan right here. The fake reverse back to Quinn early, and then faking the reverse and giving it to Thomas right up the chute.
It is a 3rd down and 4 at the 15. Kelly looking end zone, has the ball knocked out of his hand. And Glenn Parker, the right tackle, able to cover up. What is going on?
All I know is that this game will be on Saturday Night Live. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. Balls are getting bounced around. Neil Smith on the play before with Thurman Thomas trying to knock the ball out of his hand. Here goes Jim Kelly back to pass, and he does have a lot of time to throw the ball, Sam.
You know, he's taking all of that time is the problem rather than going ahead and letting it go.
Second sack of Kelly, and here's a 42-yard attempt. It is good. So Steve Christie, who missed just moments ago, able to hit from 42 to cut it to a 3-point lead. Two minutes, 16 seconds to go in the third quarter. 9-6 Chiefs over the Bills. Here's Van Over on the kick return. Trying to pick up speed and took a shot. Oh, he was walloped. Hit down by Sean Moran, and we'll be right back. Indianapolis Colts in the playoff chase, trailing Cincinnati 17-10 in the third quarter. Bruce Coslett turning things around, winning 5 and losing 2 since taking over. And Jacksonville has extended to a 16-3 lead on Atlanta. Chiefs 9, Bills 6. We come up on 2 minutes left in the third, and a first down at the 23-yard line. Greg Hill trying to go wide. Strung out by Gabe Northern, who enjoyed the moment.
Rookie from LSU, and he's enjoying it very much because they're playing the run. They've decided that they figured this out after 3 quarters. They're going to run the football. Here comes Gabe right up here. A lot of bodies around the ball the rest of this ball game.
2nd and 11 from the 22-yard line. Gabe Northern, an exciting rookie. 2nd-round draft pick. Bono. The tight end Derek Walker, but played by Northern. All right, let's check in with Greg Gumbel back at our New York studio.
All right, Marv, as we said earlier, the Colts need a win to host a playoff game, but right now, with that 1-yard plunge by Kijana Carter, they fall behind the Cincinnati Bengals, who are fired up. Bengals lead it 17-10, 5.5 to play in the third, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. It is a 3rd down and 6 as we resume. With 1 minute left in the third. Andrews and McNair in the backfield. And the swing pass for Andrews, who is walloped. Met by Manny Martin.
Sam, you can't throw a pass like that out there. The one he threw before was a floater that took a long time to get out there. And then to hang your fullback, Andrews, out to dry like this, it's a shame. You've got to fire the ball if you're going to throw it to him. Watch this ball.
That's a lot of impact. He never saw him coming.
Louis Aguilar back to punt inside his 15. Jeff Burris is back. And it's a beauty. And Burris with the fair catch. 44-yard punt. A reminder, next Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern, it's The Wonders of Rome, an encore presentation of the award-winning film that looks back at 5 of the most famous Olympians of all time. Muhammad Ali, Wilma Rudolph, Rayford Johnson, Jerry West, and Oscar Robertson. That's The Wonders of Rome, next Saturday at 4 Eastern, right here on NBC.
Marv, they put Corey Lucci in for Fina, so Fina was injured on the play. And we talked about Corey Lucci last week with Marv Levy, and Marv Levy said, hey, this guy's really not ready to play yet.
Yes, Fina shaken up earlier. Thurman Thomas with a loss on that play as this third quarter has concluded. We'll return after these messages from your local station. This is the NFL on NBC.
Welcome back to Buffalo as we get ready for the fourth quarter. John Fina, the left tackle for the Bills, is out for a couple of series. Took a shot to his right temple. He's not quite sure where he is right now. He's kind of trying to shake out the cobwebs, and they hope he'll be able to return. Marv?
All right, thank you, Jim. Fourth quarter getting underway. Kelly able to swing it over to Thomas. Thurman Thomas picking up blockers. Thurman Thomas out to midfield. A 28-yard pass play. Anthony Davis made the stop.
It's a screen to the right side. The wrinkle in this one is coming from this side right here is Johnson. The tight end is going to block downfield. He's not a receiver. You saw the block right in the corner of your screen, then the big run by Thurman Thomas.
You know, on that play, it's one of the few screens I've seen this year, Sam, where the offensive lineman actually looked downfield and not back at the guy catching the ball. Jerry Ostrowski, number 60, was the lineman that gets himself downfield, makes the block, seals everything inside, and allowed Thurman Thomas to get outside.
And Anthony Davis, who has played a very strong game, is hurt. Anthony Davis made the tackle on Thurman Thomas.
Looking at the knee, it looks like. You see him making the tackle right here at the end of the play. There he comes. Going to be dragged behind it. Comes down hard on that right knee.
Anthony Davis, originally an 11th round pick of the Houston Oilers, also spent some time with Seattle. It's his third year with Kansas City. He's had a knee problem this season. Very strong game for Davis. Had an interception right on Dateline. Stress, we all know it, we all feel it. The pressures of everyday life, as we all know from hanging around Paul, can drive you over the edge. But if you are stressed out, don't panic. Help is on the way. Dateline has the latest ways to cope. Tonight on an all-new Dateline right here on NBC. We'll have a report on Anthony Davis in just a moment. 1st and 10 for Kelly, and a beautifully thrown pass. Was able to put it right in there. Andre Reed with a 22-yard pickup.
Regis Beck comes to the inside. Now he's going to break hard to the inside. You see Tony Stargell is covering him from the outside. Just enough cushion to get the ball in there. Jim Kelly was actually hit on the release. Still got it in.
6th catch for Reed for 77 yards. And Buffalo first down at the Kansas City 26. Minute and a half gone by in the fourth quarter. Short setup by Kelly, and he completes to the tight end. Lonnie Johnson sets up a 1st and goal.
This was a great adjustment by Lonnie Johnson, Sam. He's going right into the post, and the ball is thrown behind him, and he makes the turn back towards the ball and then catch it. Watch Lonnie Johnson. He will turn back, get his hands on the ball, just total concentration. Could have been a face mask right there for another half the distance.
23-yard advance, 3rd catch for Johnson, and a 1st and goal at the 3. Thurman Thomas, 2nd effort by Thomas, taken down by Bayless and Collins. Cincinnati with the 17-10 lead on Indianapolis in the 3rd quarter. And it is now Jacksonville 16, Atlanta 10. The Jaguars must win to earn a playoff berth. Kelly off the roll, throwing, touchdown! A wide open Tony Klein.
What's amazing about this, Sam, there is a guy on Tony Klein, and he's your man. No matter what happens, you got to stay with the tight end. Tony Klein's going to just release inside and just gets behind. The linebackers, nobody even touched him. He just standing back there all by himself in a perfect throw.
Base goal line pass. Works just the way they draw it up.
So the extra point added by Christie, and the Bills have taken the lead with 12:23 left in the 4th.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Honda, vehicles designed to help simplify your life. By Nike, and by the new Coors Light Wide Mouth can. Tap the Rockies with a smoother pour.
Well, a moment ago, the Buffalo Bills going 6 plays, 72 yards in 2 minutes and 44 seconds. Jim Kelly 4 for 4, 69 yards on the drive for the touchdown. Here's Vanover. Vanover returning up to the 35-yard line. The touchdown catch by the tight end, Tony Klein, is first of the season.
As he releases inside, number 54, I'm guessing, now this is all a coverage technique, but Tracy Simeon probably had coverage on the first receiver to that side, just dropped coverage, played the run.
I mean, this was so easy. I mean, Thurman Thompson's coming out really not as a pass receiver. Bruce Smith, watch this. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Kansas City from the 35. Bono couldn't find anyone and then does connect with Chris Penn, who had to make the adjustment at short of the first down. Jeff Burris with the coverage.
Sam, they controlled Bono through 3/4 of this football game, and now here they are behind in the 4th quarter, and they're saying to him, okay, now you go out and win the football game, after they've put clamps on him for 3/4. That's an almost impossible thing to do.
You can almost see it in his emotion on the field. After that pass completed right there, he just put his hands in his shirt to warm him and walked back to the huddle.
Steve Bono last week came on for Rich Gannon, who had pulled a hamstring muscle. And flags are thrown. Looked to be the right tackle, Ricky Sigler.
False start, number 66, 5 yards. It's still 2nd down.
It is Sigler, who has been struggling.
You know, the tackle Sigler's offside, or he motions them. I love the center, Bernard. He says, them, it's on them. I mean, you don't even see anybody.
All right, moments ago we saw Anthony Davis hurt himself. Let's check on that. Here's Jim Gray.
Marv, Anthony Davis has a bruised right knee. He will be able to return. They put some extra padding on it, and he'll be back out for the next series.
All right, thank you, Jim. 2nd down and 6 for the Chiefs from their 39-yard line. The burst by Hill, and he is turned back. Bruce Smith able to stop Greg Hill.
Bruce Smith is the key. In key situations, caused the fumble earlier in the ball game. He seems to find a way to be a part of it. Throws away John Alt on that one, then falls back inside to make the tackle on Hill.
It sets it to a 3rd down and 5. 13-9. The Bills have taken the lead over the Chiefs. If the Bills hold on and win, they go to the playoffs. If the Chiefs can come from behind and win, they will head to the playoffs for the 7th straight season. Bono throwing behind the intended receiver, Todd McNair, and a flag is down.
Just a hurried throw, drops in behind him.
Holding, number 79 of the offense. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
So the penalty on Kansas City. Well, Indianapolis and Cincinnati tied at 17. Colts would be in with a win unless this game is tied and Jacksonville wins. And this is Burris out to the 33-yard line, 35-yard punt, and a 6-yard return. 10:14 left in the 4th.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call now to enjoy a hot and delicious Domino's Pizza during the game. For hot and wow, call Domino's now.
All right, Bruce Smith talking it up on the sideline. He has been very vocal right throughout the game.
And he's performed 9 tackles, 1 sack. They've run his way only 10 times.
The Bills 13 and the Chiefs 9. 10 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the 4th. Here's Thurman Thomas. And a flag is down. Browning and Derek Thomas make the stop.
There's a flag on the play.
So the call against Buffalo.
Holding. Number 72 of the offense. 10 yards. Repeat first down.
Corey Lucci called on the penalty. Indianapolis, Cincinnati tied at 17 in the fourth quarter. The Colts clinch a playoff berth with a win or a tie. Again, we bring up the unlikely possibility of a tie or a Jacksonville loss or a tie against Atlanta. Or if the Buffalo-Kansas City game does not end in a tie. And Kelly throws it away. Quinn Early, the intended receiver. So there are still several possibilities, several options. But next weekend, the playoffs do begin. You can join us Sunday for an AFC wildcard game. After all is sorted out, check your local listings for the game time. The AFC wildcard next Sunday right here on NBC. And Paul, you might wander into the broadcast booth there.
I'm going to stop by.
Right.
I don't know where it is yet, but I'll stop by.
Second down and 20.
It's not all day.
Oh, Kelly throwing high and almost picked off on the deflection. It was scooped up, though, by Stargell off the hand of Tasker.
You see that all the time. The quarterback is moving quickly up into the pocket and throwing the ball, and he just flies out of your hand, goes high.
You got to get yourself set. Here's Kelly throwing this ball up in the air and off of the hands of Tasker. I mean, Tasker's only what, 5'9", 5'10"?
Okay.
A little bit lower. Throw it a little bit lower. Try to hit the numbers on that guy.
And the inside handoff. Thurman Thomas. And he stopped in his tracks. Anthony Davis and Keith Traylor combining to make the stop.
You know, Sam, when you're on the line of scrimmage and you know the plays are going to work when the defense hollers out, watch for the draw.
No, and that's what you've got called in the huddle. Right. I know that, but you know what we're seeing is both teams now are going to start getting a little bit tighter because everything is a little bit more important. There's less time to recover from a mistake now.
And here's Chris Moore punting to Tamarick Vanover.
Beautiful.
And Vanover with the return and has to run it out. 49-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Eric Smedley running out. Tamarick Vanover will be right back. Back in Buffalo. 9 minutes remaining in this fourth quarter. Running backs coach Elijah Pitts in a conversation with Thurman Thomas. They start out from the 33-yard line off the play action fake. Bono completing to Allen and runs it out at the 39-yard line. Let's check in with Greg Gumbel.
All right, Marv, most important game happening in Cincy. Jim Harbaugh pulls the Colts even again. 1-yard touchdown pass to Ken Dilger. They are tied at 17. If the Colts win, they host a playoff game. If the Colts lose, then KC or Buffalo, whichever team wins there, Marv, hosts a playoff game.
And Buffalo with the 13-9 lead, also following the proceedings between Jacksonville and Atlanta. Second down and 4. And the quick hit from Marcus Allen. Stopped by Phil Hansen. The Kansas City Chiefs gunning for a playoff berth, seeking their 7th straight playoff appearance. And they are on top of the pack, but that streak certainly in jeopardy. Kansas City Chiefs, a team that began the season at 4-0, went to 8-3, but they have lost 3 of the last 4, and 2 of those losses coming at home at Arrowhead. And again, it's Allen. And he has the first down. Spielman and Covington combined to make the stop.
Sam, you've been watching him for years, and when you see Marcus Allen when there's 3rd and 1, it's almost a guarantee. It's like a chip shot for a field goal kicker about 13 yards out. This guy knows where the hole is, knows where the first down is, and he knows how to get it.
You know how he knows how to get it? By getting smaller. He turns his shoulders, becomes almost invisible at times. See him just turn a little bit. Those are inches, sometimes yards.
Allen 20 carries, 87 yards. First down at the 45. And Bono picked off by Spielman. Ball knocked loose, but it was out of bounds, so the Bills maintain possession. Chris Spielman with the interception. What a day for Spielman. An interception along with 8 tackles. And for Spielman, it's his first of the season.
It was a zone defense. Spielman's dropping back into his zone. And what we're seeing here is the pressure now has to be put on the quarterback. He's got to throw the football to get back into the ball game. And the mistake is made.
Sam, this is a bad throw. I mean, this is a short throw. This ball doesn't have any zip on it at all. And Spielman reads it. I mean, if he doesn't intercept it, Burris does.
Let me tell you, he said he didn't know why he was pulled from the lineup. That's the reason right there.
So Buffalo from the 41-yard line. Here's Holmes, and he is hit for a loss. James Hasty making the stop with just under 7 minutes remaining. In the fourth quarter, there's the Indianapolis-Cincinnati score tied at 17. And Jacksonville now leads Atlanta 19-10. If the Jaguars win, they'll be in the playoffs.
Hey, one thing about this defense now, and the Bills are the same way. These guys are just teeing off and going. They don't care about anything anymore.
2nd and 12, the completion to Lonnie Johnson. Tight end with the catch in front of Martin Bayless. And that's 4 receptions for Johnson.
3rd and 4 after 35.
This was after the interception just a moment ago. Marcus had some words with Marty Schottenheimer after a disagreement on whether they should go for it on 4th down or not. Marcus is really not being disruptive here. He's trying to be a leader and trying to pump this team up.
They flip for Thomas and has a 1st down. Herman Thomas running well here in the fourth quarter despite that sore ankle.
I'll tell you what, you talk about sucking it up and going for it. Thurman Thomas knows that he has to outrun the outside to get there for the 1st down. Otherwise, they probably would have had to punt the ball. But Thurman Thomas takes this toss, and then he just takes off.
Watch the block on Anthony right here. Anthony Davis, just enough to hold him to get that's Wyche out there to give Thurman Thomas a chance to get around the corner.
And the Bills 1st down at the 30. Saw some movement. Flag is down. Thomas again.
Offside Kansas City. Right in the middle of the line. And that, you know, in a situation like this.
Number 75 for the defense. 5 yards.
You're not paying attention, Sam. You got to be looking. You're right over the ball. It's Joe Phillips. I mean, he's right over the ball. You've got to be a little bit patient at this time in the ball game.
It's a case of the defensive line listening to the quarterback rather than watching the ball move. Jim Kelly's going to work the hard count this part of the ball game.
It is a 1st and 5 at the 25-yard line. We come up on 5 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. And Kelly throwing incomplete, and a flag is thrown. Andre Reed interfered with by the corner, Darren Anderson.
Sam, all Darren Anderson has to do is turn his head around. If he turns his head around and look at the ball, there won't be pass interference. You're playing the man and not the ball, and that's why they're calling it.
Straight up the field, they take their shot on 1st and 5. Now he sees the receiver look back for the ball. He should turn back too.
Darren Anderson and Tony Stargell playing for the injured Pro Bowler Dale Carter. A major loss for the Chiefs.
There's no question about it, but they're wrapped up and see, you can't stop the receiver from going to the ball, and what he did is getting away. He might have gotten away with it. All he had to do was turn and get his back to it.
It is a 1st and goal at the 6. Has not been able to get going. Mineski on the stop. Well, Cincinnati has moved in front of Indianapolis 24-17 in the fourth quarter. And Jacksonville remaining in front 19-10 in the fourth. A win by the Jaguars would put them in the playoffs and would mean the loser here between Kansas City and Buffalo would not make it.
Jim Kelly using all of the 40-second clock.
The loser in this game doesn't deserve to make it.
2nd and goal from the 8-yard line. And a timeout called by the Bills with 4:24 left in the 4th.
I'm Greg Gumbel in New York. Marv Albert told you about the Bengals taking the lead, but you never count the Indianapolis Colts out. This is the kickoff after the touchdown, and Aaron Bailey takes it 95 yards for the Indianapolis Colts with the extra point. The Colts and the Bengals are all even once again at 24. Let's go back to Marv Albert.
Thank you, Greg. No, the Colts, just amazing. You flash back to what took place last year against these Kansas City Chiefs. 2nd and goal at the 8-yard line. Here's the reverse again.
Touchdown.
Andre Reed. And gets inside the 5-yard line.
I think I spoke too soon, huh? I'll tell you what, that thing, there was a wall of blue out there, and I don't understand how he didn't get it. They made a great defensive play.
The guy that made that play is Mark Collins, but they didn't know if he'd play because of the flu. And here we are in the crutch situation. Here's Jim Kelly right there with a block. Collins with the saving tackle.
Jim Kelly, you think he isn't tough? Oh, that's a linebacker he's hitting, folks.
You think there's not a lot on the line?
3rd and goal at the 3. Recent weeks, the Bills have had all kinds of problems cashing in from the goal line. And Kelly fires. Touchdown! Quinn Early. Quinn Early beating Darren Anderson to extend to a 19-9 lead for Buffalo. Now the try for the point after by Christie. 4 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this 4th quarter. Jim Kelly now 20 for 29, 279 yards. This his 2nd touchdown pass.
So, you know, Sam, here's where the situation where the quarterback sits back and reads. He knows that he has Quinn Early one-on-one on Anderson, and that's where he goes with the ball.
And anytime you've got an inside route like that, once you get inside, just throw the ball right in the body. It's either going to be a foul or a touchdown. Bruce Smith, who's been the cheerleader all the way through this ball game, not only playing it like an all-pro, he's leading the troops like an all-pro.
You know,
one field general there.
One thing, Sam, you can look at this clock and see, or the scoreboard and see, oh, they're only up by 11 because you got a 2-point play. The only problem is, can this team score a touchdown? Kansas City, and I don't think so.
I think the touchdown there sealed this ball game. A field goal would have put a 7-point difference on the field and maybe a chance for a tie and going to overtime. But I don't know that the Chiefs, with the offense they've got today, can come back and catch the Bills now.
Christie will kick it to Vanover. The scoring by Kansas City, 3 field goals for Stoyanovich. Oh, took a tricky hop, handled well by Vanover. Out to the 20. And taken out of bounds across the 24, Raymond Jackson on the stop. Now if Indianapolis loses and Buffalo wins, Buffalo would host the wild card next week, one of the wild card games. Jacksonville leading Atlanta 19-10. If Buffalo and Jacksonville both hold on and win, Buffalo would host Jacksonville next week if Cincinnati beats Indianapolis, if you can follow that.
I got it. I got everything. I've been writing this stuff down. Haven't you, Sam?
1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. Play action. And Kimball Anders on the catch and run out at the 29-yard line by Matt Stevens. It'll be a 2nd down and 5 with just under 4 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. A reminder, NBC tonight, Starts with Dateline, followed by Third Rock from the Sun and Boston Common, plus Sister Act, the blockbuster hit comedy with Whoopi Goldberg. That's tonight right here on NBC. Anders, and he is stopped in his tracks. Picked up a yard. Chris Spielman was right there.
Sam, are they looking at the scoreboard?
I don't think so. Now they know they've got 3 timeouts. I guess they figure they're going to milk a little bit more time, but this is a classic indication that they really don't feel like they can throw the ball down the field.
You're in a situation, and I'll tell you, but down by 11 and in 3:30 and counting, this is 4-down territory. I don't care how you cut it.
Yeah, this doesn't make sense. Now they're wasting time because the clock's running and their formation's wrong.
It is a 3rd and 4. Incomplete. Keith Cash had it and then dropped the ball, covered by the strong safety Matt Stevens.
And Bono was covered by the right end Bruce Smith. I mean, as soon as he let that ball go, that was it for him. He couldn't see anything else. Smith coming up. John Alt. Now remember, John Alt's playing at about 80%. Inside move. And that is it. This guy is more than a cheerleader by a long shot.
Oh, no, he's the best defensive end in the game. I wouldn't be surprised. Fake punt. I mean, what else are you going to do? You're going to give it back to him with 3 minutes to go?
All right, here's Aguiar now. He's kicking away to Boris. And he lets it bounce. It has been a very long day for Steve Bono. 8 of 19, 66 yards. 1 interception, not able to get anything going, while Jim Kelly came on as the game progressed. 20 of 29, 279 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that 1 interception early. Now we still have 3 minutes, 3 seconds remaining. The Bills with a 20-9 lead on the Chiefs, but if Kansas City loses here today, this may well be the end of an era in KC. Questions concerning general manager Carl Peterson, although I would think he would be out of work for maybe 5 minutes. And speculation regarding Marty Schottenheimer, and his name has certainly popped up as a rumored candidate in other cities. Thurman Thomas, Mark Collins making the play.
I mean, I know Kansas City. I'm just trying to figure this out. I know Kansas City's got 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, so that's 4 timeouts. But I mean, what would you, if you use them all now, Sam, and you do get the ball back, you can't stop the clock anymore.
You're going to get 2 possessions more. They needed that possession that they just gave away or gave up on the punt. That was 4-down territory in my mind. I think under another circumstance, maybe with another quarterback, and I hate to keep laying this on Bono. Remember, he's won 20 out of 29 games. He's the winningest active quarterback in football right now, but there is just no confidence in him with this ball club. And really, it reflects right there. Just, you can see it in his body language that he knows there's no confidence.
And you felt that last night when we were sitting and talking with Steve Bono, who, as you pointed out, was semi-depressed. Not depressed, semi-depressed about the way things have developed as he has been replaced. Actually, by default, he's back as the starter with Rich Gannon sidelined by injury.
We did the game with the Kansas City Chiefs, Sam, when he made the change to Gannon, Marty Schottenheimer. And I'll get to it in a second.
All right, 2nd down and 5. There's Thomas. Up to the 40-yard line.
And when we sat down with Marty, and we did an interview with him too on top of it, but just take a look at just look at the numbers here of Kansas City in the second half, or last 4 possessions. But he said, no way am I going back to the quarterback, to Bono. I mean, this is Gannon's team from here on out, unless, of course, the injury, which did happen. But he was not going to make a change no matter what happened. That guy right there, Gannon, is my quarterback. He's going to take this team. And then when he says it publicly, then the guy gets hurt. You have to put Bono back in. How must this guy feel?
Well, I think that's the right way to do it. Once you make the change, make it the final change. But, you know, this goes back to last year. Remember, he was taken out of the game in the 4th quarter in the playoff game against Indianapolis. And from that point forward, he has had the feeling that, you know, I'm looking over my shoulder and the next bad play is it.
Well, it was a dream season for Bono last year until that playoff game when he was intercepted 3 times. 3rd down and 2 at the 41. 2:47 remaining in this 4th quarter. Thomas It's tripped up by Mark Collins. Again, a look at the scoreboard. Indianapolis and Cincinnati still tied in the fourth quarter. And now Jacksonville by only 2 over Indianapolis. 8-yard touchdown pass, Blake to McGee. Kansas City's hope would be a come-from-behind victory by Atlanta. If Jacksonville loses, both Kansas City and Buffalo would make the playoffs.
And I think going into the playoffs, though, Kansas City, if they get in that way, probably are the poorest team in the AFC playoff run. Least chance to continue on. They're just, you know, you got to go into the playoffs on a roll, playing your best ball. They are not. They played their best ball earlier in the year.
It is fourth and about a yard with 2:35 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Well, they did what they wanted to do. They took the timeouts. They stopped the Buffalo Bills. They just took their final timeout. They stopped the Buffalo Bills. They're going to get the ball back with about 2:30, Sam. And then what?
Well, now they've got to go down the field, and the Buffalo Bills know the game plan right now, and they're going to be coming up the field. I think you're going to see Bruce Smith jump right back into this ball game again, but now Steve Bono's got to come up with big plays.
Well, it is now the Bengals leading the Colts 31-24 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but they have to kick off to Indianapolis.
If Indianapolis loses, Buffalo holds on and beats Kansas City, the Bills would host one of the wild cards next week.
You know, Marv, the Buffalo Bills have never lost a playoff game here at Rich Stadium. Tremendous advantage playing in Buffalo.
And I would think they will sell out the stadium, which was not the case. They were short of a sellout, so this game is not being televised here in Buffalo. Vanover. Oh, he muffs it. But fortunate that it carried out of bounds.
It is, but Mark Vanover is their big play guy, and there was an opportunity for him to catch one on the run and maybe make the big play. Probably their only chance to get right back into this ball game.
You know, he really knew it, and there were defenders down there. Look, they're right in front of him, waiting on him, and he's not going to fair catch. He's going for the ball, but he misjudges the ball, and fortunately for him, it goes out of bounds.
It means Kansas City will start out from the 13-yard line. That's where it rolled out of bounds. 2:26 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Chiefs do not have any timeouts left, and they're trailing the Bills 20-9. Bono off the short set, throwing high and deflected. Pass intended for Chris Penn, covered by Manny Martin. We are set for another update. Let's go to Greg Gumbel.
Gee, Marv, things are happening in Cincinnati today. This is Jeff Blake with his third touchdown pass of the afternoon, an 8-yarder to Tony McGee. It breaks a tie and puts the Bengals on top of the Colts 31-24, just under 5.5 to play in the fourth, Marv.
All right, thank you, Greg. That appears to be headed into the situation of last team to have the ball. We'll pull it out. 2:21 remaining in the fourth quarter. And Bono able to complete to the middle of the field to Chris Penn, has a first down. Martin on the stop, a 19-yard advance. And the Chiefs quickly to the line with the clock running. Trying to get off a play before the 2-minute warning. And will not. 2 minutes to go in this fourth quarter. The Bills 20, the Chiefs 9. Back in Buffalo, Marv Alberts, Sam Wyche, Paul Maguire, Jim Gray. 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bills 20 and the Chiefs 9. Kansas City does not have any timeouts remaining. And Bono able to complete, rifles it to Penn. Another first down out of the 45-yard line. And they are quickly up to the line. Clock is running.
They just invite you to throw the ball inside the numbers. And if you throw it in there, you can't get out of bounds, and the clock keeps going.
And Bono takes the hit and comes up short. The pressure from Phil Hansen. The pass intended for Tamarick Vanover.
And this is that dreaded 2-minute defense right here. Just a soft zone. Everybody is dropping back into coverages, and they've got areas that they're going to cover. They've got 4-man rush. You see Phil Hansen is the guy coming free that time. But everybody's looking back at the quarterback and back at the throw, so nobody gets a catch and runs free for a long yard.
Yeah, and that where you're showing that soft zone, Sam, in that middle where it's wide open, they want you. Just go ahead. We'd love to have you throw a 10-yard pattern right in there.
Everything's funneled back inside.
You bet.
Penn is to the left, Hughes to the right, with 1:33 to go in the fourth. Bono, shovel pass for Anders. As he was going down, was able to complete. Kimball Anders tried to get out of bounds and did not. Tackled by Matt Stevens, so the clock is running with 1:15 to go in the fourth.
It's a good play by Bono. Bruce Smith's had that happen to him all year. He's been an inch away from sacks.
And now the completion to Danon Hughes, and he did get out of bounds to stop the clock with 1:05 remaining.
I think if in the beginning of this game, and not to go back all the way back, but in the beginning of this game, Sam, if they'd have let Bono throw the ball then to get some confidence in himself, look at how well he's throwing the ball in this series of downs. Granted, they're letting him throw into that soft zone, but had he done it at the beginning of the game, it might have been a different football game.
Well, I think you had to deal with his psyche a little bit early on. And he's a pro. He's got to handle it, but it would have been easier had they done that.
First down at the Buffalo 23. Bono to the sideline again, and Kimball Anders could not get out of bounds. Stopped by Matt Stevens.
Sam, you just don't throw this pass. You don't throw this pass. A 1-yard pass inside the football field. You throw it to the end zone. You got to go to the end zone.
Down to 40 seconds, and again to the middle of the field to Kimball Anders.
This is giving the game away now. You've got to take your shot in the end zone. If it's complete touchdown, you have a chance. If it's incomplete, you did all you could.
And Bruce Smith just limped off the field. Time is running out on the Kansas City Chiefs. Down to 20 seconds. Bono now looking end zone, and it's intercepted. Marlo Perry with the interception, and that will conclude matters. That is his first interception of the season.
And the defense has done it here. You know, I asked Jim Kelly yesterday, compare this team to the Super Bowl teams that he played on, the other 4. He said offensively it's not even close. They were better in the Super Bowl years, but defensively they've got a better team. They've got to carry them from here on out.
I mean, this pass here is grossly underthrown. And Penn he was the one guy with 3 people on him. And Marlo Perry just drops back into that zone, Sam, and just takes the ball. I mean, for him, it still was a short zone.
Well, coming up in just a moment, Greg Gumbel back at our New York studio, and he will attempt to sort out the entire playoff picture. That will do it. The Buffalo Bills run it out, and the Buffalo Bills for certain have made it to the playoffs. It remains to be seen as to whether the Kansas City Chiefs will get there. It depends on Jacksonville and Atlanta. That's the final. Buffalo 20 and Kansas City 9. Let's go to Jim Gray on the field.